Hello everyone, my name is Ink, and today we're going to be reading CBT with Yuuka Kazami. You walk along your way to the forest and search for the field of sunflowers. After some time, you come across the sunflower garden. You meet the person you're looking for. Hey, that's as far as you go. I really don't want you stepping on these sunflowers. You'll hurt the poor, tortured souls that live inside them. Just kidding. Mostly. I'm Yuuka Kazami. You must be here for the CBT sessions. I mostly just keep to myself and enjoy the company of flowers all year round. But I figured it can't hurt to learn more about humans and how their minds worked. So I picked up a psychology book that the half yokai shop owner had lying around in his store. It was there I learned about cognitive behavioral therapy. It seemed pretty useful, and I couldn't help but want to share it with a few humans. And here we are. So glad you could make it. Really glad you could make it. Really glad. Anyway, it's so nice of you to join me. I'm gonna turn this down real quick. Voice volume, huh? The human mind, it's deep and complex. It's amazing. But at the same time, it's quite irrational, downright absurd at some points. Our brain is ultimately trying to protect itself, but sometimes it overreacts to things that aren't really viable threats to our safety and well-being. These irrational thoughts can cause a slew of problems to our mental health. That's where cognitive behavioral therapy comes in. Essentially, cognitive behavioral therapy is using logic-based strategies to help alleviate symptoms of poor mental health. Our problems come from irrationality, so it's only natural that grounding ourselves in logic and reason can help us live better. We can't change how we feel, but we certainly can change how we act. And by changing how we react, we can eventually change how we feel. It becomes a full circle, just like nature itself. Kind of beautiful when you think about it like that. With cognitive behavioral therapy, you can take some steps to finally reclaim your true self. With that said, this is different from simply giving you advice. These are actual activities that you have to try multiple times to see results. But you wouldn't have come all this way to not put at least some effort in, right? It wouldn't be very nice to waste your time here. Or my time. Wouldn't be nice. At all. With that said, let's begin the first lesson. This one is about negative or inaccurate thinking. In life, sometimes things don't go our way. Naturally, this is perfectly normal and bound to happen to eventually. However, sometimes we think of the worst possible things as a result of when the unexpected occurs. As a result, we may develop certain lines of thinking that are not in line with reality. To combat this, we simply need to challenge these overblown thoughts with reality. For example, let's say you said hi to a friend you saw across a hall or a street. But oh no, they seemingly completely ignored you. Now tell me, what is the reason for this? What usually comes to your mind when something like this happens? My friend hates me. My friend was mad at me over something I did. I must be dumb, stupid, and ugly. It's common to think that at first glance. Well, as you have just demonstrated, it's easy to jump to a conclusion and think it must be our fault when something like this happens. However, this is mostly an emotional side taking to us this way. We have not yet challenged it with logic. Now I will demonstrate some more logical grounds as to why your friend might have ignored you. They could have been busy with something that took up all of their attention. They thought it was a stranger calling someone else. They could have been dealing with something serious and your voice was drowned out. They simply didn't hear you. See? Isn't that better? Don't you find it's much more likely that they didn't hear you than just them just hating you over something you're not even sure would have made them upset? The next time you think of such negative thoughts, try to counter it with logic. Instead of thinking, they walked past me because they hate me, try something more logical such as, they were probably busy with something and simply didn't hear me. Of course, it doesn't just apply to friends. It can apply to anything. For instance, I myself don't particularly have any close friends, but I still worry about some things. When I go flower gazing, a thought will pop into my head. I think, oh no, what if someone interrupts my gazing and ruins the flowers I enjoy watching so much? But then I go, don't worry. The moment he so as caresses these flowers, I'll turn him inside out with my pinky finger and make his family watch. And I just feel so much better afterwards. Oh, but such a thing doesn't really relate to you. Here's one. Let's say you want to go to the doctor, but you're scared of needles and don't want to get seriously injured. Once again, just challenge it with logic. Counter it with something like, she's a trained professional who has done this countless times. The chances of anything going seriously wrong are extremely low. Now you're getting the general idea. Overall, if you get any negative thoughts that are causing you unease, be sure to challenge them with logic-based thoughts. Oh, I wouldn't try to have grand arguments with yourself in your head. Just address the thoughts. And remember, you don't have to entirely believe what you counter it with. The most important part is to respond in an appropriate manner. Well, that concludes our first lesson. Now, on to our next lesson. This one is about thought journals. Thought journals are the use of writing down your negative emotions and identifying patterns of harmful or often illogical thinking. Then challenging those lines of thinking with more helpful, balanced, and logical thoughts. First, you write out what is exactly causing you distress and why. Be specific as you can. Write down what you're feeling. You can even note the intensity of how you feel. Then, when you have written it out, identify the portions of irrational thinking present in what you have written. Finally, when you have identified the irrational portions, change them with more healthy, balanced thoughts that are based on logic. That is helpful not only because you're challenging your beliefs again, but also because writing down your thoughts allow you to give them a whole better perspective that you can cope better. Now, the tricky part is identifying what exactly you wrote down that's irrational. I think it's best if I give you an example of what a proper thought journal entry looks like. Take a look at this. I tailor it for common situations humans face. What's bothering me? I think my friends don't actually like me and don't want to hang out with me because I'm a depressing person who brings them down. How it makes me feel. Sad, depressed, lonely, hopeless. How bad it hurts, 7 out of 10. It hurts pretty bad. Irrational lines of thinking present in this thought. Mind reading. I am assuming what my friends are thinking about me, even though I cannot read their minds. There's no way what they're actually thinking without them actually telling me. Or there's no way to actually know what they're thinking without them telling me. Negative emotion or assumptions. I am only thinking that my friends don't like me. However, I did not count the nice things they have done for me to prove that they do, in fact, like me. Emotional reasoning. I am only going off of this based off of feeling alone, and not logic. there is no evidence to suggest that my friends secretly despise me. What is a more balanced, reasonable thought? My friends wouldn't actually be my friends if they didn't like me. I can always ask them if there's anything I do that puts them in a worse mood. Or they can just tell me themselves and we can work from there. And with that, you should have an understanding of what a thought journal is and how to use it. It involves more effort, but can be helpful. That's generally what you have to put in when it comes to more extensive therapy. On to the final lesson. This one is called belief experimentation. This one is a step further from what you've learned so far. This is one of the most powerful CBT strategies you can learn. As the name implies, a belief experiment is when you act out on something that you may cause you distress, and then nothing would actually happen when you acted it out. Since our negative feelings are not based in reality, acting them out and noting what happened is one of the best ways you can ease troubles. This is because, more often than not, what actually transpired doesn't match with what we thought would happen in our minds. Now, to get started, first, start by writing down the experiment you're going to do that's based on your troubles. Then, write down what you think is going to happen. Next, perform your experiment, whatever that may be. Then, you write down what actually ended up happening and what you learned from it. Was it as bad as you thought it was? Was it a negative or positive outcome? Would you be doing this again in the future? Did it ease your troubles? Just like the thought journal, reflection is key. I know. I'll perform a belief experiment myself. I already finished some of it anyways. Here goes. Experiment. I shall give CBT lessons to a human. Prediction. The human will end up wasting my time because I believe humans to be weak and disappointing. Outcome. Well, I guess now is good as any of a time to show you my new spelled card. Now then, where were we? Ah, right. We were just seeing if you were really wasting my time or not. She pulled out a fucking gat. She has a fucking gun. Let me quiz you on some of the things we learned today. If you get it right, that means you indeed have been listening, and therefore have not been wasting my time, thus proving that humans aren't so bad after all. Get it wrong, and well, you'll be confirming what I knew, but that's okay. It doesn't affect me in the slightest. Now, on to the first question. Let's start with something basic. What does CBT stand for? I'm gonna say cognitive behavioral therapy. I love you, Yuuka. Marry me, Yuuka. Yuuka bis cute. Yuuka bis cute. Well, I guess that's good enough. Next question. Well, what? Oh, wow. Why didn't I get shot? Okay, what about marry me, Yuuka? Next question, I guess. What the hell? What is a cognitive thought journal? When you write how much you love Yuuka. Well, let's see if you can answer the next question. What is a belief experiment? When you experiment with kissing Yuuka. Come now, I was never going to hurt you. What? I just like to have fun and toy around with humans. They're so unique. Sometimes I just mess around with them. Other times they turn into fertilizers for the sunflowers. Mostly kidding with that one. Anyways, let's take the thought experiment from the top now, shall we? Experiment. I shall give CBT lessons to a human. Prediction. The human will end up wasting my time because I believe humans to be weak and disappointing. Outcome? Prediction. Did not come true. The human listened to me attentively, answered every question correctly, exceeded my expectations, and thoroughly entertained me. Reflection. Humans can be a wonderful source of entertainment. I shall hang out with them more. Particularly this human right here. Oh, I guess this goes without saying, but when you feel sad, scared, or frightened, remember the happy times in your life. Good memories can save your life, as they say. Well, that concludes the lessons. Try out whatever method works best for you when you need to use it. Make use of what I taught you today. I mean it. That said, I had a really good time today. Thank you. You're free to come back anytime you want if you want a refresher. I do hope I see you soon. I better see you soon. Well, take care now. Cool. Let's get to playing, getting help with patchily knowledge now. After making your way into the mansion, you wander aimlessly around the library, looking for the person who might be able to help you. After a while, you find the person you're looking for and greet her. Oh, I didn't see you there. I'd imagine you didn't have too much trouble getting here, given how rather easy it is to get past our mansion gates. Normally, I'd fry intruders to a crisp, but I don't sense one shred of danger from your aura. And that look on your face, you seem like you need help. I am Patchily Knowledge. What brings you here? Oh, you're the... Well, perfect timing. I've actually been looking for you. Thanks for showing up. I have a story to tell you. This story is 100% true. None of it has been made up. Just for you, I'm going to use the full extent of what I've learned during my reading. It dates back a long time ago, so get comfortable. This may take a while. Long ago, before Remilia and I were born, the people told rumors of a sacred object that would give you the entire world. If you had this sacred artifact, you would have power beyond your wildest dreams. As long as you had it, you would have the heart of a lion, the strength of 100 men, the cunning of a snake, and the speed of a leopard. However, it became apparent that only those with a pure and noble heart could use it. For that reason, this sacred artifact is the reason behind the rise and fall of many civilizations throughout history. It originated with the artifact stood on top of a rock hill somewhere in ancient Britannia. But no man or woman was able to take it off the stone until one day a boy named Charles. The artifact is a fucking Cerno plushie, for those just listening. No, wait, it wasn't Charles, it was, oh, right. It was none other than Caesar. And when Caesar took the fumo out of the stone, he was in complete awe over his newfound strength. He personally treaded 200 miles back to Rome. He then built up the entire Rome Empire from the ground up with his bare hands. The sacred artifact laid on top of it as a true testament to its power. But alas, he went mad with power and abused his position. He became more cruel than he was merciful. Everyone revolted against the cruel emperor. And at that very moment, when he needed it, the sacred artifact vanished before his very eyes. Caesar was killed by his own people. Overnight, every single Roman city collapsed and crumbled. And that's how the Roman Empire fell. Anyway, that's enough history for now. What I meant to show you is... Surprise! Happy birthday! We heard the news and decided we should all come over. How old are you now? 18, 19, 21, 25? Sakia is also here, as well as Yuuka. It doesn't matter. You still look cute enough to be chopped into 30 tiny pieces and eaten. Indeed, maybe I can cook you up and feed you to the mistress while we're at it. It would make a rather nice snack. Just kidding. Where were we? Darn it, I was getting excited there for a second. Anyways, Patroli, I believe you have something special for our guest. That's right. It wouldn't be much of a birthday without a present. Of course. It's about that legendary artifact I was talking about earlier. Wait, I gotta figure out a voice for Sakia. It was found on the boundaries of Gensokyo, and we managed to procure it through slightly questionable means. Here you go, King. With this, as long as you have a noble heart, there's nothing you won't be able to do. It's yours now. It's not my birthday. You tell them you appreciate the kind gestures, but they're mistaken. Your tone immediately changes as you assure them it is in fact your birthday because Yuuka pulled out the fucking gun. You then proceed to take the artifact. As soon as you touch it, it disappears, and you can feel its essence seep deep inside you. Well, look at that. The human has become one with it. I can't find a proper voice for Sakia. I've never seen anything like it. One more thing, human. It's a request from all of us. That's right. We do care about you and your well-being. Indeed. That's why we want you to promise us that you'll never stop getting better. And if you ever feel down again, please don't hesitate to come see me again. Or me. I promise I won't hurt you, for the most part. Well, time to celebrate. I'll bring the cake. I'll get Koakuma to fetch the drinks. And I'll stay here with the human in the meantime. Don't get excited now, Yuuka. I can't promise you that. Hopefully, Yuuka will behave herself while the others are gone. Hopefully. And that's it for CBT with Yuuka Kazami. I hope you've taken away something from this reading, as I have. And thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of yourself.